Hey guys, it's Tuesday again. I was going to do this video outside, but then I forgot to do it, and so it was too dark by the time I remembered, so I was like, oh, that's a shame. It's a shame, really. I'll try again next week, but I have drama club on Tuesdays and school starts next week after break, so I don't think that'll be possible, unfortunately. Maybe in the spring. So, back to the topic at hand for today. Today I'm going to talk about Power Rangers Samurai, which is the 18th season of Power Rangers. 18th/19th, I'll get to that in a minute. We're going to talk about the good things, the many bad things, and just my overall rating of the show. And so like I said, Power Rangers Samurai is the 18th season of Power Rangers. Technically, its second running season of it was the 19th season of Power Rangers, official 19th season, which doesn't make any sense because that's not the way they counted Mighty Morphin Rangers when it had 3 seasons. So, Super Samurai and Samurai are 1 season, and I will talk about them as 1 season. It'll just be 2 seasons of Samurai. Samurai was 2 seasons long. I know it gets really confusing, but we don't really have a better word for different teams of Rangers than seasons, so. And normally they're all 1 season long, too, so that would usually help. So, it was the first Power Rangers season created after Power Rangers creator, Hayao Saban, bought the show back from Disney. Now you would think that because he was the guy who created the show and it was his first season back at the wheel, he would work really hard on it and make sure this is a good one. We're going to show everybody this is a brand new generation of Rangers, brand new generation of kids. We're going to make this great. That was not what happened. Here's what did happen. What happened was they took a great Sentai that I have seen a few episodes of and they translated it rather than adapting it, which brings up a few problems. I'll get to those in a minute, but first, as always, let's talk about the good things they did first, because it's always nice to acknowledge people for the good things they do in life. So, good things about Power Rangers Samurai. Well, I guess I should start with the fact that though it is a translation, it was adapted enough that they took out the elements that needed to be taken out. Because the show is originally from Japan, a lot of the elements only made sense in Japan. The show, I should mention, is basically about the 5 teenagers who are descended from samurai, one who is not. They're a 6th Ranger, and they're fighting these monsters called Nihilocks. And so, because they're descended from samurai, in the original show there is some element of Japanese feudalism to it. They took that out, which is good, because I guarantee you most 6-year-olds do not know anything about Japanese feudalism. In fact, I guarantee most of them don't even know what feudalism is. So, they took that out. They did change enough stuff so that the show made sense in America, but not nearly enough, I think. They could have done better. I didn't really like the fact that it was a translation, but I'll get to that in a minute with the bad stuff. So, the good thing they did, number 1, is while it was mostly a direct translation of its Sentai, they did do some adapting elements that made the show better. Number 2, that they did good. I'm sure there's a second thing. Antonio's character was good. Antonio was the Gold Ranger, he's my favorite Power Ranger, and his character was good. But he's also going to be on the list of bad things, so let's move on. I can't think of a third thing they did well. I'm really sorry. Okay, so they did a good job translating. They did a roughly good job translating. Okay, so we have three things that they did well in Power Rangers Samurai. Why aren't there more? Well, we may never know. So, bad things they did in Power Rangers Samurai. This list is probably going to be a lot longer. 1. It was a direct translation. I realized that was on the good list, but let me explain. Power Rangers was mostly adapted. The writers were given Sentai footage, and they basically said, here, write a storyline around this. This didn't happen. They obviously watched the Sentai because they did a direct translation, which you might think that's a good thing, but that's not really what Power Rangers was originally created to be, and so I think it kind of took away from the show just a little bit, that there wasn't too much creativity coming from the writers. Second, lack of writer creativity. They literally reused the Mighty Morphin Rangers theme song, and instead of Go Go Mighty Morphin Rangers was Go Go Samurai Rangers. They lacked off on plot lines. They would start out with a great plot line at the beginning of an episode, and then about the middle of the episode, plot line was gone, and it wasn't that interesting anymore. Like, literally, all their the one creative plotline they came up with in the entire show for one episode, I gave them a C+ for effort, because it made, like, no sense. It's like, if you're gonna capture someone, it was basically a ranger getting captured episode, which is fine, except for the fact that it didn't make sense a lot, because when you're holding people hostage, it's best to let the people who you want the stuff from to know. It's like, come get your rangers, and we'll give them back. But no, you don't just sit around and wait for them to come, because that could take a while, and they might not find them. I would, personally, like, go tell them you have them. Go tell the Red Ranger you've captured his Gold Ranger and his mentor. But, so, yeah, that's number 2. Lack of writer creativity. There wasn't a lot of creative process, I think, that went through this show. This was basically like that kid who does his essay at 5 o'clock in the morning the day it's due. Number 3. Lack of character development. The characters in Power Rangers Samurai are not terrible. They're direct translations of their characters. A couple of them are more adapted than others, again, to adapt to the fact that this is being shot, that this is for America, not Japan. Some characters are better than others. There is some character development, but not a lot. One character actually regresses in his character development a little bit, which is not good writing to have characters regress. One character didn't even get character development, and anything they did to change their characters and make them better at all, wasn't enough. And, like, it was a little bit, but, like, they did, like, this much, and they should have at least been able to do, like, this much, you see? Like, there wasn't enough. They tried, so I give them a B+ for effort and character development, which I actually feel like I should bring them down to a C, because one character didn't even get character development. I think those are the 3 major problems I have with the show. And just the lack of consistency throughout the show. Like, when their 6th Ranger, Antonio, he has a different morphing call at the beginning, which is great, except halfway through the show you can kind of tell the writers got a little lazy, because then he started using the same morphing call as everyone else. Like, if you set him up with an original morphing call, you should use that morphing call throughout the entire season, because that is his morphing call. He doesn't use the same one as the team. He could have, if you wrote it that way when he first showed up, but you didn't, so you gotta see it through. It's lazy writing. It's lazy. So that's pretty much my synopsis. Not my synopsis. My critique of Power Rangers Samurai. Overall, it had the potential to be a great season. It wasn't. It's personally one of my favorites, though, because it was the season that got me back into loving Power Rangers so much. And the characters are good. The overall plot, the idea of the show is great. I love it. I think they could have done a lot more with it. I think they could have made the episodes more interesting. I think the plot lines could have been better. I think there could have been character development for all the characters. That's important. Character development is very important. Apparently these writers don't know that. Overall, I give Samurai 3.5 out of 5 stars. I would give it that 0.5 star back, though, if they had managed simple character development that most of us could write in a fanfiction, which I have literally done, though. So yeah, that's Power Rangers Samurai. The essay that was done is basically the essay that was done at 5 in the morning the day it was due. And that is such an accurate description, I can't even begin to tell you. So, we will get into another Power Rangers season, Power Rangers Megaforce, next week, because everyone hates Samurai and Megaforce, but like I said, they're not terrible. They did some good things. You know, watch it for yourself. Tell me what you think. I guess that's it for today. I'll see you guys next Tuesday, and may the power protect you all.